Derek approach won't fail. Tune in. It's time for Common Man. Common Man, Common Man. Charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in. It's time for Common Man.
Oh, boy. Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
Okay. Rising up, straight to the top. Got a passion for glory. See the distance, now I'm back on my feet. And his man and his will to thrive. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of life. Rising up to the challenge, marvel. And the rest of the love is the fray and the fight. Rising up to the shore with the eye of the tiger. Now what do you think? What do you think of that?
You know, sometimes when you practice, you'll set up chairs. You know, and you run through chairs just to show zones and stuff. The Viking defense looks like it's chairs. What do you think of my defense now? Ah!
Right back at you. Right back at you.
There's only one way to beat us. Starts with the C and ends with a T.
Time for 2 more questions, guys.
I've seen enough out of Cousins, Paul. Put him on ice.
We're the state of hockey, and I think that proves it, so.
I'm confident that we'll be world champions. That's what I've said right from the start, and I'm still confident of it.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the 4th in the North. This is the Common Man, Dan Cole.
I think maybe today I'll drop the E and add a D instead. Dan Cold. Thank you. Appreciate that. First rim shot of the week. Right out of the gate, half second. You call that I'm common, he's 10 to B. You know, so I'm driving in today, and the roads don't seem to be quite as busy. I pull up, and the ramp is nearly empty. And this is how little I pay attention to stuff. I'm like, well, just because it's 15 below zero doesn't mean people should be taking the day off and working from home. And then, of course, I hung up the phone, and it occurred to me, my boy was just like me. My boy was just like me. And then it occurred to me it's President's Day today, which I've never understood that holiday.
Yeah.
Of the 48 or 9 or 50 presidents we've had, are any of them worth celebrating? I'm sorry. Maybe, was it William Harrison who died 2 months in because he caught pneumonia during his, we've looked this up before. I think he got pneumonia during his, what is it called? The
inauguration?
The inauguration speech was outside. It was like, you know, it was blizzard-like conditions, yet he insisted on doing his inauguration outdoors. You know, snow's blowing sideways, bitterly cold. He goes for like 2+. All of a sudden, he lapses into a coma and dies. It basically is what happened.
It lasted 1 month.
1 month.
March 4th to April 4th, 1841.
Barely had time to sit down at the big, beautiful, resolute desk, and he was donezo, right? Who took over? Who was the VP at that time? Does it say?
I'm just on his Wikipedia page, so.
What year was that?
1841.
And what president was he? What number? Does it say 1841? Ninth. I don't remember who became I don't know. I have no idea. That's how little I know.
John Tyler.
Oh, Johnny Tyler, sure. I think he was the great-great-great-grandfather of Jeff Tyler, who used to be the iHeart president of Operate, whatever we called it like that. So, how about that? You work your whole life to get to be president, and then poof, it's gone in a month.
I'm just reading on John Tyler. Dubbed his accidency by his detractors. That was his nickname. It was brilliant.
His accidency. Wow. So he got in. And was it Benjamin Harrison? Or was that his name? And he's out.
William Harrison. William Henry Harrison.
I called him Billy Hank, is what I called him. Billy Hank Harrison. I said, how are you, Harry? And I said, how are you, Sue? Another Harry Chapin song I'm quoting from already.
His nickname was Old Tippecanoe.
Old Tippecanoe and Tyler, too. Well, that's where that came from.
There you go.
That used to be a campaign slogan. Tippecanoe and Tyler, too. Now I know where you learn something every day.
Yes.
Why did they call him Tippecanoe? Was he really big and he tipped a canoe over one time? That would be my guess. It only seems to make sense.
In 1811, he led a military force against Tecumseh's Confederacy at the Battle of Tippecanoe.
Yeah, Tecumseh.
Tecumseh, yeah.
That's the name of my snowblower, Tecumseh. It is. That's what it says on it. It's a Tecumseh.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he led him at the Battle of Tippecanoe.
So it was the Battle of Tippecanoe.
He was promoted to Major General in the Army during the War of 1812.
Okay. One of my favorite wars, the War of 1812, which, of course, the War of 1812, there's a symphony. And that's the symphony, I think, that was played during the War of 1812. I'm just making a lot of this stuff up as I go along. I got no idea, but I thought that used to be the Quaker Oats song back in the olden days. It's going to be a long 3 hours, I get it. Matter of fact, this is so good. I watched Daytona 500 last night. I would not have watched except it was on at night because it was a rain delay. Normally Daytona starts at noon Central Time and it's over by 3, right? Well, now they're starting it at 5 o'clock at night. I watched the entire Daytona 500. I like auto racing. Of course, I went to the Skip Barber Racing School, graduated from there, and then participated in the Dodge Neon Challenge Children's Grand Prix. As a matter of fact, I tweeted out a picture today in my racing garb next to my race car. I tweeted that out this morning. But one of the guys, and I can't think of his name, number 60, his car went airborne. Did you see the highlight of that car?
No.
That thing, man, it goes airborne. It does a wheelie. This thing's going end over end, bouncing. How he survived, he was fine. He was completely fine. Why did I start talking about this? I don't remember now. I was going to get to a point about the auto racing.
Yeah, what led you into that?
I don't know.
It seemed like you just made a segue out of nowhere.
It seems like I made a U-turn. Speaking of racing, it's like I took a pit stop is what I did. I liked watching auto racing last night. Oh, here's what it was. So I froze the TV screen like you can do and took a picture of this guy's car going airborne, right? And I tweeted it out, and I said, this ain't 35E. And then somebody responded, this is what your show is like Fridays at 2:45. It's a car wreck. How good is that? That might be response of the week. That might be, to this point, maybe I should start doing that. Tracking the responses to my tweets and then awarding a winner every week. That was so good. This is what people experience. I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but he's basically saying, this is your show.
Yeah.
2:45 on
in
Fridays.
Image form.
Yeah, it's just so good. Those guys are nuts to me. I didn't get anybody to bite on this because I did a couple of tweets during the race and one included these athletes, blah, 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 to see if anybody would bite because most people don't consider auto racers athletes. And you can debate that. I don't even know. We've looked up the definition of athlete before. I don't remember. But, man, when you're in that car and you're cramped in and you got the neck brace around you, and you know what they were saying on the broadcast? That these cars, the steering when you're going 200 miles an hour is beautiful. But when you're coming out of the pit, it's like driving a dump truck without power steering. So it's those guys, I guarantee you, tend to be, by the time they climb in and race for 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they have air conditioning in those things, right? It's not like I got an Impala. It ain't like driving my Impala. It's just not the same. You're in there and there's roll bars and it's cramped and then you're driving, I don't know what the average, you're going 180, 190, 200 miles an hour, bumper to bumper, like big ticket show.
Yep.
Bumper to bumper, side by side. I would bet you that these race car drivers lose hundreds of pounds during a race, because they got to be sweating inside those uniforms and in their fireproof. It's fireproof suit, right? It's like a one piece. It's like wearing a Carhartt is basically what it's like, and then you got your big helmet on your head too. Why you want to do it, I don't know. It's insane, is what it is. And, then it got nasty, too, because at the very end, Joey Logano decided he was going to try to put... It's like, it was... Here would be the analogy I would draw, Tenneby. It's like trying to put a volleyball into a golf cup. It ain't going to fit, right? He's trying to go through late in the race. There's 10 laps left. He's going to make his move. He decides to try to go... he's going to squeeze between two cars, right? He creates the final accident that wipes out all sorts of people that are up near the lead. And one of the guys, I think it was Kyle Busch, might have said, he goes, well, you got to kind of know, how big your car is to see what can fit through a hole. Obviously, he doesn't know how big his car is. So he was bitter. There was a lot of bitterness. And William Byron won it last night, but... Hey, this is a new piece of bumper music. You didn't play this. You're mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'll try to find some new ones.
I'm going to ask you, it seems like, are you now re-engaged in the show? Or because
I wouldn't go that far,
Yeah,
no.
I was going to say, because it's been years since, I haven't been engaged in the show in years either, so I'm not picking on you. It's neither one of us has really been that into it, since probably, when did you start?
As an intern or on the show?
On the show.
2005.
I think it was about 2007 was when you started to become unengaged. And I was unengaged at 205. Then I got engaged. My wife and I married bended knee. We'll break. We'll come back. Tenneby, do you have a keyword?
We do not today. I don't know if it's done for the week or just done for today, but none today.
But President's Day. We'll take a break. We'll come back. I got controversial Vikings news. And it's thanks to Nordo. I'll explain. Other side of the break. Common Man program on the Fan.
Legends of British rock, Def Leppard, are set to take over the grandstand at the Minnesota State Fair. Don't miss out on their countless hits when they take the stage on August 26th. Check out our contest page for your shot to win a pair of tickets and admission to the fair. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter.
Couple 13-14 pass here in the Common Man program. I'm Common. He is Tenneby. Time now for Peek at the Purple. Peek at the Purple is brought to you by all of our friends at Affordable Electric. Affordable/electric.com. There goes my backpack, just crashing onto the floor, and there goes everything. What's really cool about Affordable right now, I think I was telling you this last week, it's cold. It's so cold, you should call Affordable Electric. They can do.
How cold is it?
It's so cold that you should call Affordable Electric for baseboard heating, floor heating. You don't want those pipes to explode either. Was it down to 15 below last night? I think it was down
to like minus 10 when I woke up.
Okay, so it was 15 below. You can prevent a lot of problems by calling Nick and Teresa at Affordable Electric, or just reaching out to them. You can call them if you'd like. Otherwise, affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. So, just found out this is what real shows do, I think, tend to be. I came in with, you could probably tell by that first segment, I had nothing today, right? It's President's Day. We're supposed to have the day off. The morning show didn't work today. It's a holiday. We're not working. Again, I'm not going to say I've lost any respect for them because I really didn't have any. But in the radio business, you don't take holidays off. I mean, Christmas, yeah, okay. Thanksgiving, okay. Those are two you take off, right? New Year's Day. President's Day? You're taking that off? Your audience wants you. They need you. How many people have today off, do you think, in the working public? What percentage?
80?
Do you think it's 80%?
I don't know.
I don't think it's that much. You could be right. It might be.
Like in the corporate world.
You might be spot on with 80. Is your wife working today?
Well, her line of business is different. They work nonstop.
Right.
Yeah.
We work nonstop. This ain't a McDonald's. You don't shut down at 11 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning. We go 365 days a year. 24/7 is what we do. I mean, you're taking a day off. Your audience needs you. How about the guys that got up today to go work out in the cold, to run a jackhammer out? Well, I guess you wouldn't be running a jackhammer. But you got to work today outdoors.
Yeah.
You're a
tough guy.
You're the Wichita lineman. Power outage. And you need just some power trip morning show. You need to hear Lucky, Cove, Hockey, whole crew. How can you get through a morning without hearing Tommy Olson? Answer me the question, Timmy. Can you get through a morning without Tommy? It's like a day without orange juice is like a day without sunshine. Anita Bryant, you know who she is?
No.
She was a singer. I think she was a Christian singer. Then I think she lost her mind for a while. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I bet. Well, everybody's lost their mind.
Yes.
So anyway.
I do 3 hours a day every weekday.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, I don't know if I'd say it's anger out of you, but my anger would not be directed towards the Power Trip Morning Show. My anger would be directed to the bosses who they never said, hey, common antenna, do you want to take today off for President's Day?
Yeah.
We didn't get that option.
No, we didn't. We didn't get a 30 share, though, either. First couple weeks of January.
Well, there's that.
Well, we still we're fine. The other three shows are doing just fine. Knock on wood. I'm doing okay. But yeah, maybe that's what it is. But so I got nothing today, right? And especially when it comes, there's nothing going on. Who's in charge of the sports world? Why is there nothing going on this week? Did you see that on Randball? Well, we got to get to that.
No, I didn't.
He's mad
that nothing's going on?
There's nothing going on in sports this week. One of the busiest times of the year. Why we don't have any sports going on? Because, the National Hockey League isn't National Hockey League in it. They're doing, this four nations tournament. The NBA's off for a few days. Baseball is still just, spring training. He's bitter about it. I would just say read a book. But that would be me. Just pick up a book. And I love Randball. He provides us with plenty of material. But anyway.
Well, and just to let Randball know, no offense to the NHL regular season.
Yeah.
The Four Nations face-off is much better hockey to watch. So I would not be complaining about the NHL being off. I'd be like, this is great.
Plus, you know what you've got? I didn't read the whole story. I just skimmed it, so I could be taken completely out of context. But he just seemed bitter about it. That's what the headline in the...
He likes programming predicaments.
Yes.
He wants multiple games going on at the same time.
What do I do with my phone?
Uh-oh. I'm going to call it. Yeah. It's not like you to lose it.
No, I've never misplaced anything. I just hope.
I can hear it.
There it is. It's in my...
Right where you left it?
Right where I left it in my fleece. Varden fleece. Okay, hold on. This is the headline. I'm not making this up. This is what the headline said. Fish Wrap Factory. West Side today. Randball writes, whoever's in charge of pro sports calendar should be fired. He thinks they should be fired. There's no way that we should have a dead week of pro sports in the middle of what is the busiest times of the year. 51 weeks isn't enough. Got to have 52. Now I get it. We're into killing time. They're into filling space. So sometimes you just write things or say things just because you have to. If we just stop talking, it's dead air and we're done so, right? I was like, watch the Rockford Files tonight. Back-to-back episodes, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You know what I watched?
It's kind of nice to watch something not sports.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I just started watching yesterday? And you know how on your TV you can record an entire series? So like if you see something you like let's say for you like The Office, right?
Yes.
So The Office. So if you're watching The Office, you go, hey, I kind of like this show. So you click record. Then it gives you another option. At least on my TV, it does. Then It gives me another option.
Every TV.
Yeah, hit it, record again, and I can record every time it comes on. I can record it.
I have a series recording of The Challenge on MTV.
The what?
The Challenge
on MTV.
Yeah, it's the best show going, and it has been for 13, 14 years.
I should have learned to play the guitar. I should have learned to play them drums. That ain't working.
I also have a series recording of Saturday Night Live because I can't stay up at 10:35 on Saturday nights.
Let me ask you a question. What's this MTV show all about?
You really want to get into this?
Maybe the other side of the break, because I'd have to do the Peek at the Purple. That was Peek at the Purple. There's nothing.
Did we even talk about the Purple?
Well, because there's nothing going on with the Purple. Who's ever in charge of the National Football League calendar should be fired. Should be fired. You should be fired. You should be fired because there should have been something to talk about.
By the way, we're holding our own, though. We're doing Preposterous Statement Tournament. That's the biggest thing going on in sports right now.
There you go. That's what I would say. I completely agree with you there. Give me a second here. Affordable electric. Where's my cheat sheet? Because there's so much you can do. I'll find it and I'll plug it the other side of the break. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Canada just scored. They're up 1-0. Connor McDavid.
Yeah, Affordable Electric. Winter hasn't left yet. As we know, they can install fixed electric baseboard heaters, fan-forced heaters, and in-floor heat mats and cables. They wire furnaces and boilers dedicated. So they do everything. And by the way, you don't want your pipes to burst, so let them take care of that as well. That's affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. I got to tip my cap and give out a hearty thanks to Nordo. I'll explain. I was going to do that last segment. We got sidetracked. We'll do it on the other side of the break on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Wild Wednesday is sponsored by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. They're here all season long. Listen every Wednesday through March for your chance to win tickets.
Country flavor to our bumper music today, right?
It was under the Americana genre section.
Americana's got a little, I can hear a little banjo there, and if you listen real close, you can hear a washboard, spoons, and a wax paper and a comb.
Well, the picture for this one, it says Happy Harvest. It has a tractor out on the farm, so yeah.
Which was one of my clues I gave in Program Passport. How good was I in Program Passport last Friday?
You and Audra. Audra was great, too.
She was really good. I was going to take all the credit. And we made a great team. We were just spot on. There's a lot of people are saying there's a lot of strategy. Well, there's not a lot of strategy. You have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So let me ask you, Tenneby, 15 below for 6 months or 100 degrees for 6 months? Your choice.
100 degrees.
Yeah. I think we might be alone in that. Well, not alone. There's a lot of people. I know, you could just put on layers. I know, but I can't golf when I'm putting on layers. It's just not going to work. So, yeah, this is miserable. And it's apparently even going to be worse overnight tonight and tomorrow. But then did you see starting next, Saturday or Sunday? 45, 38, 42, 46, 50, 30, 35, 36. It's all going to be 30s and 40s. Now that can change again, but it's starting to get to the point, Tennessee, where it's going to all be behind us. So
once the calendar starts turning to March, then I'm ready for the cold to go. I enjoy the cold just because I got the backyard rink and it's a pain when it's too warm. Like last year was not fun. This year's been a great year for outdoor hockey, but once we get to March, it's time to think about golf.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I could not agree with you more. Bradshaw and Broad, KFAN, text line 64686. For information, approximately 19% of workers get President's Day off. I'm guessing most of those are government, education, or financial services related. Does the power chip fit into any of those categories? Because they are fine having 81% of the listeners go start their workday without the normal hilarity. Think about that. They're willing to let their 81% of their listeners go to work without the nonstop nonsense tomfoolery.
The power trip is so good.
That the power trip gives us each and every day. So I come here with nothing, right? I walk in and I see there's a sheet of paper sitting right here on the control board or on the countertop for master control or Studio A. And I thought it was you'd left a giveaway there, right? You'd printed it out and put it on there. It's not. It's show prep from Nordo. Look at this. Set list, 9 a.m. the open, 9:20 Vikes Bites. Then 9:45 he had nothing scheduled. If you listen to it, it was nothing. Then 10 o'clock, Micheletti on the Wild, USA Gophers Miscellaneous. News at 10:45. 11 o'clock, Lavelle on Twins and music. And I think that went for an entire hour.
Lavelle on music?
Yeah. That went for an entire... So that's... Lavelle is here for an hour. He had a show all planned out.
I didn't realize Lavelle was a music expert.
And then we needed something for Peek at the Purple. Listen to how much Nordo had for Vikes Bikes. Starting tomorrow, you can put tags on players. Moving void date on Aaron Jones' contract to just before free agency gives him more time to work a deal if one is to be made. Combine next week. Combine shows as a total bonanza now. PA will be there. It's lost his luster because of the rat race, but it's still fun to catch up with people. Then he has some Gophers talk. There'd be Gophers at the Combine. There are a number, I think like six of them got invited. He found all sorts of things to talk about for the Vikings today. I mean, this whole thing, this could fill the entire show today.
So when people host 3-hour shows, they actually have to prep it and write stuff out ahead of time and think about what they're going to talk about?
I guess. I mean, I guess it's done that way in some. I guess if you're a radio architect, you have to have a foundation. You got to have beams, I-beams, C-beams, laser beams. Me, nah. We just throw some seeds into the dirt. Hard to dig into the dirt today, though. It's pretty frozen. Plus, would you really, let me guess if you'd like to, this was one of the topics.
Yeah.
I do love mock drafts because it means the draft is coming. Would you like to right now start talking mock drafts? See, I can't do it.
Well, I mean, if you're someone like Ramball and there's nothing going on this week, I guess that's the route you got to go.
That would be the route that you would have to go, I guess. The other thing about auto racing that's cool is you can leave for like a half hour and come back and nothing's changed. It's just 30 or 40, 50 cars going around and around and around in a circle. And they have a little scoreboard on the side that lists all the cars. And they're because they're changing positions constantly, right? So all of a sudden the guy that's in 7th place drops to 8th, then the guy that's in 8th place goes up to 7, then 7 drops back to 12, and then it just goes, and it's all there on the side of the screen for it. But here's what I really want to know. It looks to me there's only 3 automotive manufacturers that are represented in the Daytona 500. Chevrolet, Ford, and Ford doesn't make a bad car, by the way, and Toyota. Where's Buick? Where's Volkswagen? Why don't we have
Audi?
Why do we have BMW, Mercedes-Benz? Why are those
Mitsubishi?
Why are those the only 3 that participate that have representatives in the Daytona 500? Just seems strange to me. I'd like to see somebody from every different manufacturer.
Yeah.
Volkswagen would be tough. I mean, I don't think you have a little Volkswagen Bug out there, one of those Beetles. I don't think you can. I mean, I don't think you can. It's big enough, right? I mean, you got to have it's. You don't want a 4-door luxury sedan. I understand why Cadillac's not in it, right? That's a little too big. But there's no other manufacturers are in there, and I don't know if it's because
where's Tesla?
Tesla's not in there either.
Get them in there.
I wonder why they don't have electric cars in there. Here's the other thing.
Is that controversial?
Well, here's another thing. So they're interviewing guys, and they kept saying Logano had the fastest car out there. Well, how is his car any faster than the rest? Don't you all? I mean, did they?
You think they'd all basically be the same?
You would think they would all basically be the same. What trick are they doing that makes theirs faster than anybody else's out there?
They all look the same. Well, and not like anyone's more aerodynamic than the others.
No, they're not. I don't see where there's any difference in them. I like that they all have, the best part is they all, they're covered with advertising, right? Which I just love. I just think it's the greatest thing ever. Every single car. And every car has got a main sponsor. There's the Wendy's. I think that, I don't know if I can't remember who was the Wendy's guy, but you got, it was kind of sad though when Wendy's car got in an accident. You saw the Wendy's gal get her face just crushed from the other car. They just went bam, and all of a sudden you just see her face crumble like that. I felt bad for her, But everybody's got a main sponsor. But, here's one. Common antenna, thank you for being dedicated and committed to the Rubes. It's sad other hosts are quick to take the day off and do best of. You both are for the Rubes. And we are. Yeah, I think we truly are. Here's what someone says. Road racing is so much better, or F1, Formula One. Yeah, again, it depends what kind of racing you like. There are different kinds of racing. There's Indy 500. There's the open wheel. Those are called. I like Daytona because it's the great American race. I just like the old idea of stock car. Do you know how stock car racing even started, Tennessee? It was back in the moonshine days. You had to have a souped-up car, and they were called stock cars because they were just stock off the showroom floor, right? That was it. They were stock cars. Now, they're not stock anymore. I don't know why they call them stock cars, because what you saw last night in the Daytona 500, you can't go to the showroom floor over at Mao or Chev and go, yeah, I'll take the Wendy's car. You're not going to get that kind of a car, right? But I like it. I know it's well, look, I'm not going to go down to Talladega for a weekend and get a Winnebago and sit on top of it. I ain't going to do that. I don't like it that much. But I like a little bit of auto racing. I thought it was awful fun. Now, what I wanted to ask you is, you say there's hockey going on right now.
Yes, Four Nations face off. It's Canada versus Finland right now. USA plays Sweden tonight. So all the teams have played 2 games. They only played 3. And then the top 2 are going to go play in the championship Thursday night in Boston. The U.S. is already in the championship game. So, they might take it easy tonight against Sweden. I know their starting goalie, Connor Hellebuck's not playing. Our guy, Jake Ottinger out of Lakeville, is going to get the start for them tonight. Okay. And, Matthew Tkachuk's not going to play. So they're kind of like resting their starters because they don't need to win tonight.
Sure.
But this Canada-Finland game, if either team wins in regulation, they will play the U.S. in the championship. If the game goes to overtime, then Sweden, I believe, I don't know if they just need to, as long as they beat the U.S., I'm not sure if regulation or overtime matters, but if Sweden beats U.S. tonight, then Sweden would go in if this game doesn't go in regulation. But Canada's up 2-0 early on Finland.
It sounds complicated to me.
Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon with the goals.
Is it President's Day? Is that why they're
playing during the day?
Playing during the day? It still doesn't make any sense because 81%, as Larry Mondello guy texted us, 81% of the people don't have the day off. So who's now
including those NHL players,
right? Well, and so now we have people that would like to watch hockey that can't watch it because they're working. Yeah. How bad of an idea was it? And hockey wonders why they're regionalized and don't have as many viewers as all the other sports. Might not want to have a game in the middle of the day on President's Day. Doesn't make any sense, especially when it's the Four Nations thing. Because everybody's apparently into Four Nations.
And I'm in a tough spot because I want to watch the game, but I technically have to be listening to you, I think.
I see you keep looking over to the TV.
Yeah, my eyes aren't as focused on you, but I'm listening.
Yeah. With half an ear, basically.
What?
That's what Blakemore said. I went into, because he wasn't really participating in that last hour because LaBelle was in studio. So I went in to talk golf with him. And he says he loves anything where it's nation against nation.
Yeah.
He loves Ryder Cup. He loves President's Cup. He loves, what is this called again?
Four Nations Face-Off.
He likes the Olympics. He likes World War I, World War II. I'm really not into World War I or World War II, though we did win them both. The big one, WW2. So it did. For me, I don't know. It just doesn't do. Now, what I want to know is, you got to figure this out. And I know you're with me. You're not a big, drop the gloves guy.
Yeah.
U.S. and Canada, 3 fights in the first 9 seconds.
First 9 seconds, yeah.
Can you was that all because of the booing, because of the 25% tariff? Are they so mad at us in Canada?
Our flag did get booed during the national anthem. That did happen.
Is that what caused the dropping of the gloves, do you think? Was it more political or?
I think it's also just USA hasn't played Canada. No, they haven't played the last, 1 or 2 Olympics. So we haven't even had a chance to see international, our country's best versus Canada's best. And, they're two biggest rivals. Canada's our biggest rival. I would assume we're their biggest rival. I'm not inside the heads of the Bash brothers. I mean, the Kachuk brothers.
Are they United States or Canada?
They're U.S.
Okay.
Yes. They are. If you've seen the movie Mighty Ducks, they basically are the two Bash brothers.
Okay.
They were the two that got in a fight before the puck was ever dropped. First it was Matthew. Then they go to do the next face-off. Then Brady gets in a fight before the puck's even dropped. Or basically as the puck's being dropped. So both and they're brothers. So they were... And their dad was a very good NHL player, very good American hockey player back in the 90s.
Tkachuk?
Keith Kachuk.
Oh, Kachuk, not Tkachuk.
Canada just scored again, by the way. It's 3-0. It's over. My biggest thing was as someone cheering for USA, like against Finland the previous game, the Kachuk brothers were our 2 best players, right? They scored a combined 4 goals in that game.
Whoa.
And then they're out there fighting against some no-name Canada players. I'm like, this is not a good swap for us. And then, after JT Miller got in the box at the 9-second mark for fighting, now we're shorthanded. I'm like, this is not an ideal start. We ended up killing the penalty off and we were okay. But I'm like, I don't think this is smart to have our 2 best players in the penalty box for the first 5 minutes. And now we're killing a penalty because we're out here trying to fight everybody. But the crowd loved it. I think. Your typical sports fans really liked it. It got the attention on social media.
Well, you and I have had this discussion periodically through the years. It's one that pops up during, I guess, what a lot of people on the radio station call this the sports abyss. I've never understood that. I mean, I understand what they're saying, but I watch Daytona. Is that a sports abyss? You watch it yesterday. Guy's car went airborne. But I wonder what percentage of hockey fans really... Because when I've talked about banning, they should just ban fighting somehow. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You're soft. Stick to golf. Stick to radio gardening. You don't understand the sport. Fighting's always been part of the sport and always will be. And I've never... I mean, I get that. You got to have it because if Tennessee, my guess is... If you were in the NHL, you wouldn't be a skill position guy like an Ovechkin. You'd be more of a... that's would be my guess. Maybe I'm wrong. So you'd be the guy out there that would be looking to tear Ovechkin's head off. And if
I was in the NHL, I would be the defensive defenseman who has to block shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my role.
And then you'd be the guy we need you to goon it up with that guy over there. So go goon it up. And they goon it up because if you start going after, for instance, if you start going after Kirill, well, then we got to have somebody to go after there and fight and see fight and all that. I just think there should be a better way to figure it out.
See, I'm with you. Like, if you're going to have fighting, that's when it makes the most sense, right? You're using it to protect your best players. You're using it to protect your stars. What they did Saturday night was not to protect anybody. It was just they wanted to get their team fired up. They wanted to get the crowd fired up. That's all it was. And some people like that. Many people like that.
Brad, John, Brian, KFAN text line. This is Mike. Mike on the 612 says there was group texting between the 2 teams before the game. They all knew it was going to go down before the puck was dropped. Is that true? Do we know? Do we have any indication? Did you hear that?
I don't know.
It makes sense, right? Hey, let's have a brouhaha. Let's have a Pier Sixer. Let's have a Donnybrook. Donnybrook is a wonderful auto race, too. You ever see that at Donnybrook International Speedway? I didn't think so. Miller got his butt kicked by Papiaco. Parayko did.
Parayko is like 6'6". JT Miller, I don't know his height. I'm guessing he's more like 5'11", 6 feet. So it was not the ideal matchup for him to go after in a fight.
Common tell Grumpy B to go back to the retirement home about his dislike of the 3 fights. Yeah. That was amazing. It was amazing.
I knew that was coming.
How does Jim Runwell?
What a great fight.
What a great fight.
Phenomenal.
It was phenomenal. It was amazing. It set the tone for the game. Got the players fired up and showed fans that this is no exhibition. That was amazing. Tenneby is showing his age. Sad, really. You are starting to show your age, Tenneby.
Yeah.
The morning sun.
Well, actually, I don't think I am showing my age. I always assumed it was the old school crowd that loved the fighting. So this would actually say I'm too young for it.
Tenneby, let me just say this. The morning sun, when it's in your face, really shows your age. I'm quoting from another song. Now, matter of fact, I quoted, this is how bad I quoted from Rod Stewart's Maggie May last week, a song from 1971.
But I will say, like, regardless of the fights, that was a level of hockey that cannot be replicated anywhere else. And I don't know how many of the casuals out there were tuning into the game, but the NHL, hockey has always been such a regionalized sport, and it's always been very challenging for them to bring in a casual fan to come watch it. That's about the best showcase you could have to try to gain a casual fan to watch your sport more. Because it was basically, you take the best players in the world. It's an all-star game where everyone is trying as hard as a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. Yeah. Like, I had the intensity of a Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final in terms of the passion, the contact, even take away the fights, the physicality of the hits that were delivered. We don't see that in regular season games. We don't see a lot of that in playoff games.
Right.
I mean, it was passion, intense hatred for each other. It was phenomenal hockey. You know what we call that? My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, for thee I sing. That's what that was all about. Let me ask you a question. You know, they're playing today on President's Day. Do they celebrate President's Day in Canada? Maybe you could call Wes Walls and ask him. That's Larry Mandela guy, but it's good. It's a callback to something that happened about 15 years ago, but it's still a very good one. I like it a lot. But they actually in Canada they don't celebrate President's Day. They celebrate Prime Minister's Day because they have a prime minister. Will that hatred still be there when they become the 51st state in the United States? Will that hatred still be there? I don't think it will. They'll be one of us then. 51st state. That'd be a big state.
It's a really big state.
That's what I don't understand about it, trying to make it a 51st state. Why don't we just keep their provinces? And then how many provinces are there? Like 8, 9, 10?
Yeah, something like that.
Why aren't we just adding like the 10 provinces and now we have 60 states instead of one big, huge 50? Instead of one big, huge 51st state, that doesn't make much sense.
You should run for president. You got a lot of great ideas.
I had another idea today. If you elect me as the next governor of the great state of Minnesota,
right,
I will make it illegal for gas station pumps to ask you multiple questions when the temperature is below zero. When it's minus 10, you don't ask me about, do I want to save on Cub Foods? Do I want to get a car wash? I don't want to do any of that. No. I just want to hit the button, get my gas pumped. I want to get back in my car. No, you want to go into the store and get a Blue Powerade. Is what you really want to do. It's so cold, though, I'm not walking in the store. I got lots of ideas. There's a gas station near my house that I refuse to go to anymore. Of the 16 pumps, like 5 or 6 are always broken. And I pull up to it, and I get there, and all of a sudden there's a sign that says this one isn't working. I swing around and go over another, and I see the plastic bag over the nozzle. That one's not open either. Then there's other people there, so it's like, well, when am I? And that's happened to me over and fix your pumps. Call somebody to come in and fix them. It makes no sense to me. So I don't go there. I go out of my way. It's my own silent protest. Yes. It's my own silent protest. I'm not going. If you can't, why are you not fixing your pumps? And then the other thing they do that's really annoying me,
They took all of their water softener salt and moved it up instead of right next to the pumps. So you can conveniently steal 2 or 3, just throw them in the trunk of your car and drive off. They won't let me steal their salt anymore. Now they move it up by the store, so you have to actually go up there and pay for it and then walk it back to your... Of course, when I get it now, I drive right up. You're not supposed to park in front. Then I drive right up so that because I'm not going to go buy it and carry it back to the parking lot, right? I'm going to do it right in front of the store because it's all right in front of the store. So as I pull up, I think they think I'm coming to rob the place or something because I'm screaming up and stop and pop open the trunk. Want to buy some of your water softener salt. So, yeah, I'm not going there anymore. Sorry. It ain't going to work that way. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We need one. That was an action-packed, fast-paced, controversial first hour of a Common Man, a President's Day edition of the Common Man program. 534, other side of the break, tend to be after this Americana music. What do you got for us for a tease?
New All-Star game, same old complaints.